let's go to Ina from the Netherlands, and she's going to ask us about, I think she's going to ask about X.J. Kennedy's Nude descending a staircase.
Can I interrupt her 1 second?
Yes.
Anthony Risser is the Dick Whitman.
Oh, right,
Anthony
Anthony,
Risser.
of course, Anthony. Hello, Anthony. Here we go.
Hello, this is Ina Schrodesedes from the Netherlands. I have a question about the poem Nude Descending a Staircase. I was wondering if Duchamp, his painting wasn't already a satire, and so this poem would be a satire on a satire, and therefore perhaps not understood very well, as it might be a bit too much to ask for a reader to understand why he was using this form and not a more free form. And I was also wondering if the perspective of the poem wasn't from the landing upstairs in the poem instead of downstairs, because the speaker is looking through the banister, and when you are downstairs and you are in front of the staircase, you don't see through the banister, you see everything coming down. Oh, my English is not very well, but I hope I made it clear what I was wondering about. And I also want to say I'm really enjoying the course. It is very nice and very professionally done. Thank you and bye.
That was great. I'll read the poem and then we can talk about it. This has probably been more of a cause for controversy in ModPo over the years than I expected when I put it in there, partly because it's a response to Duchamp, and it's and we kind of, in our video, we kind of go after it as a satire that's like a pro-neo-formalist satire, and people take exception to that, and maybe we can rehearse that argument here. So I'll just read the Kennedy. Nude Descending a Staircase. It's obviously coming after Duchamp's painting. Toe after toe, a snowing flesh, a gold of lemon, root and rind. She sifts in sunlight down the stairs with nothing on, nor on her mind. We spy beneath the banister a constant thresh of thigh on thigh. Her lips imprint the swinging air that parts to let her parts go by. One woman waterfall, she wears her slow descent like a long cape, and pausing on the final stair, collects her motions into shape. Anna Strong is making a mad face, and so what I want to do is go to Anna first, and you're going to stir it up, I'm sure, and then we'll go to Molly and Erica for a follow-up response. Okay, Anna. Why are you so angry at X.J. Kennedy?
Because I guess the thing that has always really deeply bugged me about this poem is that what the Duchamp painting does is actually a radical unobjectification of the female nude form. That almost every painting pre-Duchamp was a highly objectified, very male gaze-y version of a female artistic nude. And what Duchamp actually does by doing this, radically fractured cubist version of that female nude descending the staircase, is he actually takes away the kind of sexual male gaze quality of it and instead makes it this incredible painting about motion and movement and dynamic form. The Kennedy poem actually just undoes all of that, like categorically, and remakes the radical, groundbreaking, paradigm-shifting painting into an incredibly traditional, objectified version of the Nude Descending the Staircase.
And if it had been a poem, it was simply a new formalist poem about an artist's rendering of a woman coming down the stairs, but didn't have the title of the previous work, it would be hard to argue, or a little harder to argue that it's a satire. But because it uses the same, it's clearly a counter-argument of some kind. Lily, let's go to Molly and Erica, and then Lily, you can add something. Molly, your thoughts on this? Are you as up in arms as Anna Strong?
I'm not. My sort of reading of the poem is that X.J. Kennedy is saying Duchamp is not exempt from this male gaze issue, and that he sees Duchamp's attempts to to fracture this traditional view, this traditional objectification, as maybe ineffective, just because he's so explicit about the lips and the parts, and I guess I can't bring myself to think that he's not being ironic. X.J. Kennedy, that is.
Yeah, right. So we spy beneath the banister a constant threat of thigh on thigh. That, what I would consider to be awful looking, I'm adding the editorial awful there. You're saying he's ironizing that. He is not that speaker. He's not in favor of such spying. He's satirizing it. That's what you're saying?
That's my reading, yeah.
Okay. Erica, what do you do with this thing?
I think I might be on Anna's team.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I think
you
a lot
can't see
about,
it, but Anna is celebrating that you're on her team because she likes you and wants you to be on her team.
I mean, I agree. Like the painting was huge and hugely important, and what Duchamp accomplished in the painting was something that was pretty radical. And I feel like the thing that gets me about the poem is how rhythmically contained it is, like how dependent it is on the rhyme scheme and the meter.
Yeah.
And it just seems like the form of the poem in a lot of ways devalues any possible satire to me.
Mm-hmm. Lily?
I think for me, I understand. I like and understand Molly's reading, but I think for me, the part where he says nothing on, not on her mind is what puts me...
He's insulting her.
Yeah, but it just puts me a little more in Anna's camp that even if he was saying Duchamp wasn't as radical as people think he was, he didn't really do his critique with his poem because he's still only talking about her in a objectified way. Mm-hmm. Whereas like what I think is radical about Duchamp's work is that he doesn't let us see enough of the woman or even tell us that it is a woman, to let us make those kinds of assumptions, like she's dumb or she's, insert X thing you would think about a naked woman walking around here. So Duchamp doesn't, like, something, and radical intervention is like he doesn't let you do that. Like he doesn't let you see this like beautiful woman reclining on a couch eating grapes and think like, oh, she must be so rich and she's so beautiful, the way like a traditional nude would. Whereas the poem makes all of those assumptions right away and doesn't do any of the radicals.
What I had intended in putting this in ModPo was to take the modernist earnestness and sincerity which you get in the Duchamp. Duchamp is a Dadaist gag guy. I mean, he makes a lot of Dadaist jokes. But in that piece, I think he's being very serious about the innovation. Mm-hmm. And Kennedy later in this Augustan period, this period of satire, the 50s, where there's a rolling back of modernism, a deliberate rolling back of modernism, is making a wisecrack here, saying that because she wears nothing, she's got nothing on, she's nude descending a staircase. Chris, can you bring me up in the room just a little? Nude descending a staircase, she's got nothing on, and then he goes ahead and says, nothing on her mind, ha ha ha. Because she's naked, she must be a bimbo. She must be stupid. So this doesn't really respect the tradition of women in portraiture, to be sure, but the participation of women who are the object of artists' renderings, just leaving that aside, but it also just makes a joke. I don't think it's like, I think it is a satire. It's a satire of modernism's attempt to break down the subject-object dominance.
It's kind of just saying like, let her be a hot lady. She's a hot lady.
Why can't she's beautiful? And Ina from the Netherlands said, she's challenging our idea that the subject position of Kennedy here is looking up, right? Looking up. And she's wondering, well, maybe you can. I mean, she thought about it. Ina did, and maybe you can see her from the banister. I mean, I don't really ultimately care. I think Ina's probably got a reasonable case there, but there's a constant thresh of thigh on thigh beneath the banister. So it strikes me as a looking up, which is a very, when someone's coming down the stairs and you're below, you would think that higher has dominance over lower, but actually lower, because it's looking up, has a kind of dominance. And the poem thinks that's hilarious.